Hey guys, I'm going to talk today a little bit about our quick reference card. This is available to everybody or anybody that wants it. This card is really handy for doing maintenance on your vehicle. If you don't do maintenance all the time, maybe you don't really remember a lot of the stuff that you might need to know, and that's perfectly fine. So this is just a way to help put all that information into one spot, and maybe that would be able to help you. You can leave this in your glove box and then just pull it out when you need it. Let's say you have to, your low coolant light comes on and you suddenly have to go to the store and pick up some coolant. Well, what type do I get? Well, with this little card right here, we know what type of coolant our vehicle is going to take, and we only have to fill it out one time and then we have it. So the nice thing about this card is it is going to have your year, make, model, VIN, and the engine size, which is mostly everything you're going to need if you go to the parts place. It's also going to tell all your fluids like we talked about, and your tire pressures. Another thing that it's going to have on the back is your tire rotation guide, and it's going to tell you how we would rotate your tires. It's also got a little tip about how to actually check for wear on your tires and see if we need to be replacing our tires. And last but not least, we have a guide. If we happen to have a dead battery or a vehicle won't start, this is going to tell us how to actually jump our vehicle, which most people don't realize that we should never hook the ground cable on the side that's being charged to the battery, because there's actually a chance that battery could explode. Okay, so let's go over to the vehicle and we will talk about how to begin filling this information out of here, okay? So I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, so here we are at the vehicle. So when you're getting ready to fill that card out, the first thing we need to do is find the VIN. If you're not sure where to find that, the easiest way to find it is on the left front lower corner of the windshield. And you can see it right here. We got a little bit of water on it. See if I can move that. Every single vehicle is going to have the VIN located in that position. If you are having trouble seeing through the window, sometimes there's stuff stuck underneath, like trash gets stuck in front of the dash. You can always come look at your driver's door. It is located in quite a few different points on the vehicle, but the driver's door is also going to show us what we're looking for, okay? Okay guys, so now we're up underneath the hood and we are going to be trying to find the engine size next. So the first place that I would usually look for the engine size would be on this plastic engine cover. A lot of times it is listed right there. It's either going to be in cc's or liters on most vehicles. If I look at this one, I see it's a Vortec, but it really doesn't tell me what size engine it actually is. So if that's the case with you, we're going to have to go look for the vehicle engine identification tag. And on my vehicle, it's actually located right here on the air filter. We can see in the top left corner, right about there, that this is actually a 6.0 liter engine. That should be just about everything you need to bring your vehicle in to get parts. In rare circumstances, they will need to know the engine identification code on your VIN, which you'll have with you, but that actually is the 8th digit. Now, it is not always located on the air filter. That tag does vary from model to model. Sometimes it will actually be located up underneath the hood, or on the core support, or in another area. But those are some of the basic areas. So the next thing that we should do is go ahead and look to see what type of fluids our vehicle should have. A lot of times this is pretty easy to do. You can go to the individual points on the vehicle and see what type of fluid you should have. So we'll start off with the brake fluid. Okay, so our brake fluid is always going to be mounted basically directly in front of the brake pedal on the vehicle. So we can see on this vehicle, it says right here that it is DOT3 fluid. We definitely want to use DOT3 fluid in this. Other types of brake fluid, certain fluids are not compatible with it, and we would want to look at our fluid level. And you can see there's just a little bit of a change in our line right here. So we'll shake that and you can see it moving hopefully. We would want to make sure that this is at least above halfway. If we look on the other side, there should be a full mark about right here. So I'm actually a little bit low and I need to add some fluid. Okay, another thing that we do is looking at our washer fluid. It's a good idea to check this anytime you would do an oil change, but if you are trying to use your washer pump or your windshield washer nozzles and it is not working, the first thing I would do is come here and check this. You can put any type of washer fluid in that you would like. Typically I prefer just the standard blue washer fluid, but there's plenty of different brands, and whatever you would prefer is more than adequate. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to look for our coolant. So this is the overflow tank. Some vehicles will have a radiator cap. This vehicle does not. The cap on this is actually on the overflow tank. So it does actually have a radiator cap, however it's not mounted on the radiator itself. Now we can look at this and I can see that the coolant should be Dexcool in this. Usually it will tell you what type of coolant is on the cap, however, not always. Continuing on, we'll look at our engine oil. So we see that this is SAE 5W30, means this is just a standard non-synthetic grade of 5W30 oil. See that a little bit better right there. Does not tell us how many quarts of oil we need, but we do know what type of oil we need to purchase. Okay, the last thing that we need to actually check is right over here, and that is our power steering fluid. So we can look kind of right down here, and I will get a flashlight and I will turn that on, and I will show you that little cap right there is actually our power steering fluid. So there really is no specification for power steering fluid when we are replacing the power steering fluid. It actually is just power steering fluid. There's nothing really special about that. So if you need to go pick some up, that's what you're going to get. Okay guys, so we've looked at our vehicle, we found most of the information we need, but let's say your car doesn't tell you everything you need to know on the oil fill caps or any of the fluid reservoirs. If that's the case, then we'll really want to go to the manual. The manual should have all of the information you need. It can be a little troublesome to navigate, so I'm going to show you guys how to do that quick. So if we open this up and go to our first page, which is right here, we can go through, and this is our index, our guide. So we're talking about maintenance of our vehicle, so service and appearance care. So we can look through this and we see that it's going to have most of what we need. So we can talk about service, our fuel, how we're going to service all the different components on the vehicle, even how to do a bulb replacement. So if you're unsure, this is actually pretty handy. Section 5 in my owner's manual, yours might be a little different. It's going to tell us just about everything we need to know. So the first section we're going to get to is fuel, and we're going to see that the lowest octane we are able to use is 87, and we should always use the lowest octane available, because frankly anything higher than that is not really going to help your vehicle. It's just going to cost you more money. So now we are at the oil change, or how to do that. So this is actually a temperature gauge, and this is a chart that tells us our recommended oil. So if we look at this, we have a temperature gauge here, and if we see the 0, if we always drive between 0 and 100 degrees of temperature and weather, which in Ohio that's pretty typical, they do say we're allowed to use 10W30, it's acceptable. But our recommended oil is going to be 5W30, and I think we actually saw that on the oil fill cap. This is also going to tell us when we would change the oil, and we recommend, along with GM, that you change your oil with standard non-synthetic oil at 3,000 miles. If you have synthetic oil, I would recommend you wait until 5,000 miles between oil changes. And it's a preference. If you decide you would like to use synthetic oil, you can. It won't hurt your vehicle. So I hope this helped you guys fill this card out, and I hope you keep it in the vehicle so anytime you need maintenance, you will know what you need. Have a good day, guys.